What's up, everybody? Getting into some shoulders this week, along with a little core work. Um, Getting into this off season, I definitely want to put a huge emphasis kind of on my weaker areas. As powerlifters, a lot of the time, we tend to work on the three main lifts: that squat, bench, and deadlift. And we start to, over time, kind of just focus on them more and more, kind of neglecting those other areas. So, in the off season, since I probably have about 6, 7 months, I'm going to put a lot more emphasis on things like, shoulders, hips, hamstrings, calves, kind of more bodybuilding stuff. So today I decided to get into some Smith machine incline press with pretty much the widest possible grip. This was a favorite of one of the, legitimate mass monster bodybuilders, Marcus Rule. It's extremely good for building chest and shoulders kind of at the same time. It's probably one of the best exercises there is out there. So focused on these. Didn't do a lot of reps. Kept reps low in these. Worked up to about 5 rep. I don't know if it's a max, probably not, but just like a heavy 5 rep set. After that, decided to get into some shoulder presses. I like to do these with dumbbells most of the time. Sometimes I do them seated. Sometimes I do Arnold presses to work on a little more mobility. But in any event, worked into some shoulder presses after this for a lot higher reps, or probably medium reps. Did a bunch of sets with 10.
Get it, Cap. Oh.
So getting into those shoulder presses. In general, there's probably 4 or 5 main ways people do overhead. Usually it's like a military press, which would be a barbell in the front, or a push press as well in the front, a behind the neck press, which would also be for barbell but behind your neck, or in the Smith machine behind your neck. There's these seated dumbbell presses, there's standing dumbbell presses, there's Arnold presses, but those are kind of the main variations. Usually it's with a dumbbell or a barbell. Now, for the most part, I prefer to do them with dumbbells. Just because of my mobility issues, it becomes very difficult to kind of push within that range of motion with a barbell. So anytime I do like military presses, it ends up mostly feeling just like a mobility exercise rather than an actual strength exercise. So with dumbbells, at least you kind of get more freedom of motion. So if you do kind of have mobility issues, which obviously you should still be working on, you can still kind of do the lift, and it'll kind of work however you need it to work out for you. So I obviously, as you can see, went with dumbbells. I didn't get very heavy because I haven't done these in a while. I think I worked up to like 90 pounds for 2 sets of 10, which really isn't a big deal. I know I've done at least like 120, 130 in the past, but right now I'm kind of trying to just get used to doing these exercises again before I really, start stacking on the weight. I'd kind of more rather just do medium weight with higher reps at this point. So I think I ended up doing like 4x10 or 5x10 or something like that. Nothing crazy. After these, I got into kind of some rear delt pulls where you're laying against an incline. And the goal for these is to kind of keep your elbows out and kind of pull with your rear delt. It's the type of thing you really just kind of gotta, just feel out. You'll kind of feel where it's hitting. You can kind of go from there. Obviously, everybody's body's built a little differently, so you kind of got to find that angle that's right for you. But these are definitely one of my favorites to hit rear delts. These you can also go on like a cable pull down with a rope and kind of like do a standing, I guess you could say like chest pull over type of motion. But yeah, these are definitely one of my favorites. I can always hit my rear delt exactly how I feel like hitting it. I usually use lighter weight, like 45, 60, 70 pounds, somewhere around there. I try to go for higher reps, at least like 15, anywhere from 15 to 25 reps. Today mostly I think I did like 4 sets of 20 or something like that. So usually the way I look at it is the less complex the exercise, the more reps I'll do. So usually you're not going to see me doing a squat for 20 reps. It just won't really work out. It's extremely hard to keep good technique. And usually if you can keep good technique, it didn't work that hard. Or it's just too light for it to really be that effective. So usually the more complex the exercise, the less reps I'll do. And obviously if it's something as minor as this, where you're literally just targeting one muscle, it's a lot easier to keep correct form when you're just going off of one minor muscle. So with something like that, as I said, I usually go much higher reps, like 15, 20, 25 reps. So I wanted to talk about my future plans a little bit. Obviously, I just competed January 23rd. Took 10 days off, start working out again. I don't intend to compete until the Boss of Bosses 3, which I think usually is like the last weekend in August. So that gives me about 7 months. My plan as of now is to kind of do more bodybuilding work, off-season work, kind of getting away from going as crazy on squats, bench, and deadlift, and just focusing more on the accessory work, getting more balance, working on core, because that has been a big issue for me. Obviously putting more effort into mobility, things like that. So that's kind of my plan for the first, I'd say like 2 to 3 months before I start really getting back into, heavier squats and really starting to focus on a meet prep. So in terms of things like, I guess, my body weight at this point, right now, I kind of lost a couple pounds. I think I'm like 240-ish. But definitely moving up a weight class. So I'll definitely be looking, around competition time to be at least 260. So I'll probably start a legitimate bulk around like end of April, beginning of May, which will be about 3 months out from the competition. Hopefully I come into it at least, mid 240s, if not like 250, but it shouldn't be an issue. Just gonna have to, really get on the calories, basically. I'm definitely looking into a meal prep service just to help me out with that, because it's one of my biggest issues. It's just eating enough food. I've never been a big eater, so the more meals I at least just have in front of me, I can just make sure I eat, the better. So that's my goals for that. I intend to compete probably 242, no knee wraps, just because I haven't competed without knee wraps in quite some time, and I have some goals there that I want to hit. Definitely want to hit an 800 squat with no knee wraps, and I definitely want to deadlift 800 plus. So those are kind of my 2 biggest goals. I definitely believe I can do it with a good, healthy training cycle, along with added body weight, but obviously you just got to see how things play out. Those are kind of my current goals at the moment.